Hey, business building warrior. Thanks for jumping on to Silent Sales Machine Radio for a new episode. I'm so glad you could join us today. We're going to be spending a little bit of time here in just a moment with one of the great coaches on our team who recently presented at our annual conference. If you haven't heard of it before, it's the Proven Conference. I'll stick a link in the show notes so you can go check it out. But in late May of 2024, the conference was held. We had about 700 people attend. It was phenomenal, nearly 50 breakout sessions. And we thought we'd sprinkle in over the next few weeks some of the great sessions that happened at the event. Now, if you happen to have attended or purchased live stream, you got all of these sessions, the full audio, professionally recorded video as well. So a lot of listeners may have already heard this or you've already got it in your proven Amazon course arsenal. But there'd be a lot of people as well who haven't heard these. So we're going to, like I said, grab a few random breakout sessions and present them to you. Now, this next one that we're going to play today is from Abe McMahan. He's a great coach on our team. He's built a beautiful business, and he's also part-time one of the great coaches on our team. He's built a beautiful team using some very unique strategies, as he'll help you understand today. He's got a whole team of shoppers. He's doing all kinds of interesting things online. He's been able to grow a seven-figure business, which is kind of the theme of his talk today. And he gives some very practical tips on how to get there. If you're new and you want to build a business that's significant and substantial, what are some of the things that he's done? He talks a lot about multiple income streams, some very specific strategies, how he's getting into wholesale training, or excuse me, some of the wholesale strategies based on the wholesale training inside the Proven Amazon course, which, by the way, you'll hear him reference that at one point. You should know that the wholesale training he's talking about is included inside the Proven Amazon course right now. We are in the process of coming up with a new module for our wholesale training as well. But the training he's talking about, it's right there inside the Proven Amazon course. He gives you multiple tips on how to have a seven-figure business working very flexible hours using the strategies that we teach in this community. So it's really cool to me that he's quit his job. He's been able to be with his family, to grow his team. He considers it his ministry, meaning he really cares about the people he's working with. His team is spread out all over the country. It's a pretty cool concept on how to grow an Amazon selling business. And I think you're going to really enjoy it. One of the things that's worth pointing out is he came from us. He came into our community as a completely clueless newbie who had never done anything online before. And now he's one of the trusted, respected leaders who's built a great business, and he's helping a lot of other people do the same. If you're unfamiliar with how we do coaching around here, Abe is one of our great coaches. You're about to meet him, like I said, but we've got about 60 people just like him who have come through our training courses and content. They've built a beautiful business. They have a teacher's heart, and we've recruited them in as coaches. So over the past 20 plus years, we've coached about 10,000 people, believe it or not. That's pretty incredible, making us the longest running e-commerce coaching program in the world. Predominantly, we start newbies out selling on Amazon because that's where all of the shoppers are. About half of all transactions online any given day in the United States are happening on Amazon. So we teach you how to get into that arena as your foundational experience. And then from there, there's many directions you can go. And Abe drops some of the things that he's doing successfully in the tips and strategies that he lists out during this presentation. So if you enjoy this, please let us know. We may drop a few more of the breakout sessions as podcast episodes. If we get some feedback, can you let us know that you enjoyed this? You do need to circle the dates, June 5th, 6th, and 7th of 2025, not 2024, 2025. We're really planning ahead, right? But go ahead and circle those dates. We're going to have this event again in Orlando, Florida. Those date details will be coming. There may be a little sneak peek of some details in the show notes today as well. If you want to go check that out, maybe get some super early bird tickets, which, believe it or not, a whole bunch of people have already done, saying they're going, even though it's over a year away as I'm recording this. They have locked in their tickets and they can't wait to join us again at this event. It's been now the longest running Amazon seller conference, the longest running annual Amazon seller conference in the world. Pretty incredible, but it's about a lot more than just Amazon, as we'll hear in just a moment. So let me bring on my good friend, Mr. Abe McMahan, and we're going to join the session kind of already in progress. We chopped out some of the early introductory comments and that sort of thing so you can get right into the meat of his presentation. And I hope you enjoy this. And if you want to hear a whole bunch more of these, I will stick a link in the show notes to how you can get access to the videos of and the recordings of the other sessions from this conference that happened late May. 2024. Enjoy.
So back in 2017, I was getting very bored at my job. I had basically delegated all my responsibilities. My background is in operations and logistics for companies like Frito-Lay and Nabisco. And so I've had 20 years of leading people, leading teams. And at this particular job, which was a wholesale pet food and pet supply company, I had delegated all my responsibilities as I was bored out of my mind. And so my wife encouraged me to start a side hustle instead of find a new job. So that's one of the rules I'll share, is always listening to your spouse is good counsel. So take that one. So I started looking into Amazon and started my business in 2018. Quickly after ramping up my business, I think in the first 3 months we'd gotten to $60,000 in sales. I realized that I was going to kill myself if I continued at that pace. And so we developed shoppers, which I'll get into a little bit more detail on that. Grew in the shopping side. Eventually, at one point in time, had 9 shoppers working for me across the country. And then as shoppers begin to kind of find other jobs or do their own thing, I started going into wholesale to supplement the revenue that was lost from shoppers deciding to move on to other things. And so now we are strictly wholesale, and I have 4 full-time employees, about 7 part-time employees, and I manage a 7,000 square foot warehouse. So that's me in a nutshell. But today I kind of want to just have like what I'd call like a fireside chat about tips and tricks to grow your business to $1 million. And that's combined between Walmart and Amazon. And it's kind of more of I'm going to pretend like you're all students of mine right now, because I am a coach with the program. And I'm going to give you a little pep talk here on how you need to help yourself with your business. So the first one is, I'm a follower of Jesus Christ. The first number one thing I've done with my business is I partner with Jesus. So Jesus is a business partner of mine. I spend a lot of time in prayer over my product and my business. We literally pray over our product in our building, walk around saying, "You're sold, you're sold." And, it just brings a supernatural element to our business. And if you think about the Bible, and for those of you who don't know the Bible, that's okay. We can talk about that later if you want to. There's a story in the Bible about Peter where Jesus tells him to throw his nets over on one side, and he has more fish than his nets can hold. Peter was partnering with Jesus. So when you partner your business with Jesus, I'm going to guarantee you better start building silos, because you're going to start having more work than you can ever imagine. And that's something we've been doing along the way, and there's no rational explanation to explain why my business has grown to the extent that it has, other than it's supernatural, 100%. But I also promised my wife I wasn't going to turn this into a sermon and actually give you some other practical tips. One other thing about that too is I would encourage you to have a prayer team for your business. If you are a spiritual person, ask people to pray for your business on a regular basis. A prayer team for your business is an amazing thing, and I highly recommend it. Okay, step number 2 is grow with a group of people. Find people locally with you that can help you source products. I alluded to the fact that I hired shoppers. I had a local person that helped me go shopping, and I did not pay by the hour, I paid by profit sharing. Because when I approached people, I said, "Hey, listen, I don't have any money right now. I'm bootstrapping my business, so I can offer you profit sharing at 50-50. So whenever a product that you buy sells, I'll split the profit with you." And that's how we created our shopping business. And again, as I alluded to, we had grown to 9 shoppers at one time in all states across the country. And the highest shopper I paid 2 years back to back was, I paid her $60,000 a year in profit sharing. So as you can imagine, I was collecting $60,000 for doing nothing because she was outsourcing the products, sending them into my Amazon account. And if you're going to hire shoppers on your account, I highly recommend you get a domain name with a domain email so it looks really professional in Amazon, so everybody's got the same domain email. You don't need to communicate with these folks on that domain email. That's what they use to log in. So you pay the whatever $5, $6, $7 a month to Google or whoever you use for a domain, create an email for them, pay that money. It just looks really professional. You don't want a whole bunch of emails in your account that say at Yahoo and at Gmail, and it just doesn't look very professional. So when Amazon's reviewing your account and they see everybody's got the same domain, it looks really legit. Also in your community, be known as the Amazon person. And I'm sure most of you talk about your business probably a lot like I do. So I'm always networking with people who say, hey, I know this guy that sells on Amazon, we should put you two together. That's why I have a lot of the business I have is because people locally have referred me. Right now we do a sole distribution for a smoothie company because somebody referred me to them. It's a startup company. We're doing their fulfillment on Shopify. We ship in all their products to Amazon for them. And the only reason I had that was because someone referred them to me. And they were frustrated with their current 3PL. So now we do all their fulfillment. It's a smaller company. They're kind of bootstrapping it right now, but we pray over their product too. So because they're partnering us, they're going to be successful, and we're confident in that. So make sure everybody in your community knows that you're the Amazon person. The other recommendation I'd say is become a coach. You know more than you probably know, and this silent sales machine is always looking for more coaches. So if you know how to do sourcing really good, or know how to create a bundle really good, or are passionate about something, ask somebody to be a coach. And you will be shocked at how many partnering opportunities you get when you're a coach. So one of my biggest, I don't think I told you what I sell. The primary things I sell are toys, shoes, and clothing. Now we sell other things too, but that's our primary. We also sell knives and hatchets, but those aren't as much. But one of my biggest accounts that I have right now with a shoe company, because we order direct from manufacturer, was through a coaching student that said, hey, I got this opportunity to go with this wholesale account, but I'm not really sure how to maneuver it. Would you mind if we both signed up and learned how to sell these products together? I said, absolutely. And now, I don't even think this student sells these shoes anymore, but now I'm part of this company's Amazon exclusive, where you have to buy, in order to be part of this group, you have to buy 1,800 pairs of shoes of a certain style. And so we're part of that group. And had I not been with my student who suggested I do that, I would have never had this business opportunity. So always, in addition to that, always be willing to partner with somebody to do wholesale. So I've got a couple students in here. We just went to a trade show together. And actually, I'm going to get to that in a minute, but no, actually, I'm going to do that right now. My notes say do that right now, so I'm going to do that now. So I had a couple students, they're sitting over here. They kept begging me to go to a trade show with them, and I was pretty busy and I couldn't afford the time, so I finally just committed and we went down there, and they wanted me to help walk the floor with them on how to talk to vendors and what to say. And really, it's just about self-confidence, knowing what you know, owning your business, and not being afraid to say, yeah, I sell on Amazon. Are you good with people selling on Amazon? And we walked away with 4 relationships that were phenomenal, and I think we're going to be doing a lot of business with them. And so partner with people, go do it together, and have that abundance mindset that, hey, there's enough to go around here. There was more products there that neither one of us could have bought a ton of, or had the money to buy them all. So let's both share that, and let's get into that together. So always be willing to join people and to help build your business. There's nothing that can go wrong with that. In addition to that, as you grow your business, how many people have employees or contractors that work with them? Okay. About a third of the room. Something we do with our virtual assistants is I have monthly one-on-ones with them to talk about their performance and also get to know them as a person. And it's through a video chat. So I highly recommend you do monthly one-on-ones, if not every other week. And then with my employees, every day we have what's called a stand-up meeting. In our work, the first thing we do when we come into work is we clean for 30 minutes. So we go around the warehouse, we have a cleaned assigned areas that we all clean, so we make the warehouse nice and pretty before we start working. And then we start our stand-up meeting, and the stand-up meeting is comprised of review today's assignment, so everybody has clear direction on what they're doing. We talk about a lean concept, and if you're not familiar with lean is a philosophy revolved around 8 wastes, which I won't get into, but we talk about how to improve the process of our warehouse, how we can reduce wasted movement, and get them trained to think that so they can be more efficient in their job. And then after that, we do a reflection where someone will share a Bible verse or a passage in the Bible that has spoken to them lately, and then we pray as a team. And so, that's part of our development. And then in addition to that, every other week I have a one-on-one with each one of my employees to talk about what's their future goals in life, what's going on that we can help them with, what's bothering them lately. And then we talk about their performance at the job and say, hey, I've been noticing you've been coming in a little bit late. I need you to work on that. Or, hey, I'm really proud of you I saw you the other day, you made an improvement in your process that saved the company money because you're acting like an owner. And our 3 values are be safe, be proactive, and be an owner. So I don't want anybody standing around waiting for me to tell them what to do. I always want people to be proactive. If you're standing around, grab a broom, sweep something, clean something, and then when you make a decision about whether you're going to do something in my company, be an owner. If this was your company, would you pay yourself to stand around? So those are things that we reinforced on a regular basis. So that's about growing with people. Number 3, offer more in service than you take in pay. So I love to share leads with people. And if I'm finding something that's really hot, there's a few people I'll reach out to and say, hey, have you checked this out? You should go get some of this. This thing's moving fast. I've been doing really great with that. So I recommend sharing those. It goes back to that abundance mentality. Be willing to share leads with other people, help encourage their business, especially when they're maybe in a slowdown or their sales have dropped a little bit. You might help them give a little bit of boost. I've hit this already, but have an abundance mentality. There's enough to go around. And then be helpful to other people. Hey, and I think Jim talks about it all the time. How can I help your business? What can I do to help you? I ask that question all the time. And many times that leads to business opportunities. And then in addition to that, be generous. We donate to local charities for products that may not be selling. It not only creates a great tax write-off, but it also serves the community. So we have a alcohol and drug rehab location near us called Teen Challenge. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that ministry. But we donate a lot of shoes. Since I told you we do a lot of shoes, we donate a lot of shoes to them. And these are people that may have never had a pair of shoes in their life, or a fairly new pair of shoes, I should say. So we partner with them and do a bunch of donations, and they benefit, we get the tax write-off, and plus we just get to bless people. And usually we will drive it down to those locations and hand those off personally. Number 4, you have to take calculated risks and stop playing small. I can't tell you how many students I have that just will not get off the pot, so to speak. Okay, you've got to take action in your business. And you have to stop making the excuse where I'm not a risk-taking person. Well, then maybe you're not cut out to be an entrepreneur. Okay? So just make a decision. And you know what? You're going to make mistakes. And that's okay. It's how you respond to those. And I think we've all heard that before. And then well, what about the money? Well, you know what? As we learned from Rabbi Lappin, money can be created. So if you're willing to put in the work, money can be created. So take some risks. And part of that is define what kind of business you want. So, I have people that I coach all the time. They say, I want to get to $10,000 every month. I go, what's so magical about 10,000? What if it's $10,000 and you're making a 5% margin? Is that great? Well, that's not what I was thinking about. Okay, so what's magical about 10,000? Why don't you just start putting your one foot in front of the other and see what kind of sales you can produce? And define what you want to be. I'm okay, tell yourself, I'm okay if I do $1,000 a month on Amazon. That's okay. And I'm okay with that for a year or 2 years. Okay? Education comes with a cost. You're going to have to put in the time and effort. So, comparison is the ultimate thief of joy. So don't compare yourself to me. Don't compare yourself to Eric. Don't compare yourself to anybody else. Just define what kind of business you want. I'm going to be a $1,000 a month seller, and I'm okay with that. There's nothing shameful about that. There's nothing embarrassing about that. I'm good. And I'm going to walk around confident because you know what? My next door neighbor is a $0 a month Amazon seller because they don't even do it. So it's okay. Be comfortable in your own skin. And when I talk about don't play small, in addition to that, be a little bit confrontive with whoever you're making your deal with. At this trade show, we approached a vendor that had a little bit lower amount of inventory on a particular product. And we approached him and said, if we bought all the inventory, what's your lowest price? And of course, the gentleman came back to me and said, well, what do you want to pay for it? I said, well, what will you give me? We just go back and forth. Never be the first one to say the number because then you might be leaving money on the table. And he came back with a very encouraging number, so we took it. And we bought all the inventory. And we're going to actually make bundles with it. And it should be good. It's kind of a barbecue type bundle we'll be making. So always be willing to make an offer. And I used to do this all the time when I used to do a lot of retail arbitrage. I'd go into Walmart and I'd talk to the manager. I'm like, okay, I'm going to buy this whole shelf of product. What's the lowest you'll take? So don't be afraid to make an offer. You would be shocked at how low people will go just to get rid of product. Okay, number 5, push yourself. Okay, you're coming up on 10 p.m. and I remember this when I was working full time and doing my Amazon business. It was 10 p.m. I was tired and I still had 100 items to prep. And I would have that conversation with myself. Oh man, I'm so tired. Shut up. Go prep that stuff. Stop whining like a baby. Get in there, So be willing to push yourself. In fact, at the point where my wife approached me, this was about 2021, I would be up till 1 a.m. night after night after night after night. And she was going to bed alone, and she kind of got tired of it. And eventually she approached me and said, you need to pick one. You either need to do your full-time job and stop this Amazon stuff, or you need to go Amazon full-time. I'm like, hey, you don't have to twist my arm. I'm going full-time Amazon. So, but there will be a grind. This is not, don't believe the lie of passive income. Nothing's passive about it. Unless you're investing in the stock market or cryptocurrency where you don't do anything with the money, you just watch it grow, perhaps. That's probably truly passive. But there's nothing passive about being an entrepreneur. Sure, you can delegate. Sure, you can give yourself more flexibility in your life. But there are going to be times where you're going to have to dig deep. And you're going to have to push yourself farther than you ever thought you could push yourself. Because you've got more in your tank than you can ever imagine. But you limit yourself. So yeah, there's going to be some hard times. Just suck it up, okay? Don't whine about it. Nobody wants to hear you whine, all right? Okay. Who here thinks they can sell $10 million on Amazon? Everybody's hand should be going up right now, okay? Why don't, and I raise my hand because I will do that someday. And I believe I can do it. And then my next goal is going to be 20 million, and then it's going to be 50 million, and then it's going to be 100 million. Because I will stop at nothing to continue to grow my business. And I am not a greedy person. I'm doing that because I love providing employment for people. I love changing lives. I love shaping a culture where I work. So the whole reason I asked that question is, you put your own cap on your own business. Stop doing that. Stop believing that lie. And that's a societal thing where we believe this poverty mindset, like, who am I to wear the $12,000 Rolex watch, drive the Tesla or BMW Series 7 or Mercedes Series 7 or whatever. I don't even know cars. So, but the thing is, you have to think massive, and that will change the way you talk to people. When I talk to people, people think I have this massive multi-million-dollar business. Yeah, we're in the millions, but it's not as big as they think it is because I'm giving them that belief that they think I'm bigger than I am. And so what that leads to is me getting opportunities that, say, you wouldn't get because perhaps, and I'm not judging you, but perhaps she's not thinking as big as I did. Here's a small story about that. So I do clothing. I do have a relationship with a clothing distributor. And I told him I needed to take a break because I was moving buildings and I was building a prep center, which we still have our prep center. That's a small portion of our business. And I said I need to pump the brakes on some of my buying right now because I'm building out this huge prep center. And he's like, wow, that sounds interesting. Well, when you get it built, give me a call. We might be able to do business together. And this is a $45 million clothing company. So I'm like, that's interesting. So a few months go by, he hits me up, hey, when are you going to place an order? I said, well, we're still doing the prep thing, and I just don't have a lot of time right now. We were focusing on some of their wholesale accounts too at the time, and because I had to be careful where I was dispersing my money at the same time. And he's like, well, hey, we got an opportunity for you to quote our prep business. We've got a 3PL that we do not like, and I want you to quote it. And I was like, okay, at the time I had myself, one full-time employee, and a bunch of homeschool kids that were doing my prep. And, like collectively, there was probably 100 hours a week of work that I could do, and most of it was shipping my stuff. And I said, well, what's the volume you're looking to ship? He goes, I need 13,000 units a week. And I said, let me think about it. He said, send me a quote. I said, okay, I'll email you a quote. And I'm like, oh my word. I said, okay, God, you sent this business to me. I know you're going to make it work. So that was a Wednesday. So I sent him an email with the quote. I go, this is what it would cost. $1.50 a unit. And he's like, well, what if we did $1? So we're going back on the 4th on the email. He goes, what if we did $1? I go, okay, I'll do $1. I'm thinking 13,000 units a week. That's some good money. And so I'm praying about it. And on Friday, I was meeting a friend of mine. We were going to go walk through it was a Mexican candy warehouse, and we were going to go see if we could, again, partnering with somebody locally who wanted me to work with them on how to maneuver this deal. And I'm sitting in here, and we're doing research in the warehouse. The owner let us do research in the warehouse on the toys and looking up keeper graphs, and we'll take a case of that and this. And he goes, hey, by the way, if you ever need help prepping, I've got a warehouse, and there's a sewing company right down the street from here, and she trains these people on like $4,000 sewing machines, but they're hitting a little lull in their business. And she's got like probably 5 or 6 people that have nothing to do. Do you have any work for them? And I said, yes, I do. And sure enough, after about a month, and there was a lot of drama in between there because I won't get into all the details, but we got the deal done, and we started shipping truckloads to this sewing company. They made room for us, and this warehouse was 45 minutes from my home, so I was managing this remotely, and they were doing 13,000 units a week, and it was amazing. And it was one of those things like, And I praise God for my logistical mind because they had a dock door, but they had no dock plate. And I didn't even think to ask them if they had a dock plate. And the first semi backs up, and I'm like, oh my word, there's 14 pallets on this truck, and we have no dock plate. You know, that 3 inches of eternity that I'm like, how are we going to get this truck unloaded? So I just started knocking on local warehouses that were around, and I said, hey, I need to borrow a dock plate. And it was one of the manual ones, and thankfully this guy was gracious enough to lend us one. And so then I went and bought one from Uline right away. But, you know, just getting the deal done, and that went on for 6 months. And I took 5% of all the profit for doing nothing. And so you can imagine 13,000 units a week for 6 months. And I poured all that money back into, they got 95% of it, and they were as happy as you can be. And so that was a great relationship. Unfortunately, it ended, but you know, it helped generate some great revenue for us and them, and they were happy. Okay, number 7, outsource as soon as you possibly can. Hire VAs, and I highly, highly, highly recommend you train them yourself. Do not train them. Do not farm them out. Do not ask anybody to do it for you. Don't ask anybody else to hire them for you. You do it all yourself, because you know how you want to run your business, and all you have to do is record a video on how you source or how you manage your account. That's it. So you don't need to ask somebody else to do it for you. And then if you are going to hire a VA, we kind of tend to go towards the Philippines. Just FYI, it's a very literal culture, so you have to be very direct, over-communicate, and provide them a path to success. So what we did for a while with Janelle and Brandon is we would give them websites and brands to go look at. So you kind of lead them right to the edge, and then they take it from there, okay? In addition to that, hire contractors. So this was a business concept I had never thought of. So I had this guy who was my student, and he kept asking me to be a shopper. And I knew how he ran his business, so I was like, we're full. You know, I like you as a guy, but I probably wouldn't like you as a shopper. But he kept asking me, and I'm like, no, I can't do that. But he got really into wholesale. And is anybody familiar with Rich Potter's wholesale training he was doing for a while? And this gentleman went on site. They did some on-site training down at Rich's warehouse in Arizona. And so he went and took that, started down this path, but he ran into a problem with capital. He didn't have a lot of money to buy, full truckloads or pallets or these things. And he had kind of got himself into a little bit of a bind. And so he said, well, what if I did wholesale for you? I said, well, that's a good idea. Let's do that. And so he said, let's do profit sharing. So every wholesale account I get, and we sell their products, I'll get a profit sharing, just like you do with your shoppers. I said, that's awesome. You're doing all the work, setting up my accounts, and I'm not doing anything. That sounds like a good deal to me. So then I came up with the idea. I said, hey, why don't we do this? Why don't you start traveling around to trade shows, and I'll pay for your travel. And you just start getting accounts by traveling around to trade shows. And he's like, that's a really good idea. So we started doing that. So he starts going around all the country, looking up trade shows, where he can go. We got a contract with a company, it's a shoe company called Bear Traps. I don't know if anybody's heard of it. They kept denying him, but he kept following around to trade shows and say, when are you going to give me your business? And they finally caved. So that is a great business concept to have somebody do that for you. Now, the profit sharing into that didn't really work out with him too good, because if you know anything about wholesale accounts, it can take 2 months before you place your first order if it's a slow process and you get your sales rep and you evaluate the products. Sometimes it can take time just because they're busy facilitating with other vendors and so forth, or other customers. And so I'm like, man, I kind of felt bad for him because he's doing all this work and he's not getting paid. So one day, and we have a weekly one-on-one to talk about the progress of our business, and I said, hey, Dave, what's your wife think about what you're doing for me? Because I know my wife, and there were times in our business when I wasn't taking a paycheck, and it was hard, and it caused some, stress in our marriage, because, my wife wants to be financially secure, and I want to spend all the money. So that wasn't working out too good. And we got through that. We had some things that we did to kind of make that work. So I said, what's your wife, I said, Dave, what's your wife think about this? He goes, well, she's not too happy. I go, I kind of figured. And I said, so I want to put you on a retainer to make your life a little bit better. And I want you to dedicate all your time, because he was out doing like some gig work and also working on his own Amazon account at the time. And, you know, he was working on just kind of pulling some money in to kind of help support his family. And I kind of felt bad about that. So I said, ask your wife what you need as a retainer, and we're going to pay you that. And so he came back and he gave me the retainer. I gulped a little bit because it was a little higher than I was expected. But I said, you know, honestly, if you make that up in wholesale, then it's not going to matter, because I'm going to have a wholesale account for life. And I'm going to benefit from that. So I said, effective immediately, we're paying you the retainer. And so he was overjoyed. I was overjoyed. That produced a whole lot more business. And, you know, so that's a great concept that I had never created or thought of, but that's one that you might take away from this, of having somebody, and you don't have to put them on retainer, but partner with them, maybe have them go to trade shows. And I'm not talking about, ASD is fun, and, you know, that's kind of like the pool party. You know, you go to there and mingle, it's not bad. But look for the little smaller trade shows that are around where you can get more intimate, kind of press flesh with people, handshake. And those are the ones that I think you'll find a lot more success at. In fact, that's the one we did in Chicago with Eric and Brian. We went down to one in Chicago, and it was great. You know, that we made some great relationships there. So think outside the box and maybe get a contractor to help go to trade shows. Number 8, diversify your business. I created a prep center. I'm like, I've got all these employees here. I might as well do some prep work for people to offset my cost of labor. So do that. Create a prep center. Invest in other companies. You know, as I mentioned before, everybody in my community knows I'm the Amazon guy. So there's a friend of mine who I hadn't talked to in 5 years. He calls me up and he's like, hey, you still doing that Amazon thing? I said, yeah. He goes, well, I buy jerseys and signed and autographed material, you know, Kobe Bryant, NBA stuff. He's like, there's an opportunity for me to, you know, make a purchase and buy a ton of jerseys and get them authenticated, and we could stand to make some good money on that. What do you think? I said, I'm in. You know, let's do this thing. So that's passive. That's a 100% passive for me. We went in half, 50-50 on the jerseys and some of this memorabilia. He sells it on auctions, and I get a check. And so all that happened because he knew that I sold on Amazon, and that his first initial question was, what do you think about selling these on Amazon? And I said, there's no way. I'm not doing that. But if you've got another opportunity, I'd love to do work with you. So that's how the conversation started. He's like, well, great, I have this opportunity. So always be willing to diversify. How many people invest in cryptocurrency? That's impressive. Okay, I highly recommend that. And I'm not what do they always say on there? I'm not a financial advisor. Gold and silver, highly recommend gold and silver if you want to do some investment in that. Buy a business. I sat down with Rich Potter this week. He sells franchises. So I thought that's intriguing. I'm going to see what that looks like. Or find, you know, there's some statistic out there that says so many baby boomers are retiring and businesses are for sale. Man, take a look out there and see what you can buy. And you might be able to do a great thing like do an equity share, or you work in the business while you kind of a rent to own type thing. People will work with you. They want to ride off into the sunset, and they need someone that's going to take over their business. So you'll be able to work something out where you don't have to plop down, you know, $1 million right away. So look at that. Okay. Number 9, plus minus equals. I heard this on a Sean Ryan podcast from this guy. I don't even know what his name is, but it just, on the whole podcast, I listen to podcasts sometimes when I'm at work, and it just rang true to me. So whatever his name is, I'm not trademarking this, I'm just stealing it. So plus, always have a mentor in your life who's going to take you to the next level and push you. Okay? Minus, always have somebody in your life that you're mentoring and going to help be a better person. And then equals, always have somebody that's at your level that can hold you accountable. And for a long time, I never had a plus in my life. I would gather little pluses from other people I knew, but they weren't people that I respected the whole package kind of thing, but I would take a little bit of nuggets. So for the first time in my life right now, I've got actually 2 pluses in my life that are pouring onto me into a weekly basis where I ask them to mentor me. So I encourage you to find someone out there to mentor you that can help you grow as an individual, grow as a person, kind of push you. The coaching program is a great opportunity to do that. Find someone to hold you accountable. And how many students do we have here out there that sign up for coaching? That's great. That's awesome. And even if when you get into your coaching call, and sometimes these are the best productive coaching calls that I have with people is, okay, we can only review KEEPA so many times, and we can only look at your criteria so many times, and we can only review ACE so many times. Like, oh my gosh, okay, here we go. Just make the decision. Buy the product, okay? But maybe you get on those calls, and it's like, okay, let's flush my business out, who I am as a person. Let's talk about some goals I have. Those are great conversations. You're already paying the money. Just say, hey, I'm going to structure this session where you're going to pour into me and kind of talk about how to build my business. What's the future look like? What do you think of me as a person? Here's what I struggle with. I'm going to actually be transparent here and share some of the fears that I have in my life. And I need help getting over that. And I just need someone to talk to about it. Do that. It doesn't have to be always like business oriented and things like that. So plus minus equals. Okay, number 10, have a growth mindset. Let me ask you a question, and this is rhetorical. You can answer this question in your brain. Are sales a form of a growth mindset? When I'm looking at my sales, is that and I think Jimmy hit on this many years ago, is that a leading indicator or a lagging indicator? Lagging. The sale is already done. Looking at your sales all the time on your app is not doing you any favors. I know it's great. You might find your identity in that, and you might feel good when you get a sale. That's great. Yeah, you get that euphoric, shot of dopamine when you get a sale. But that is not where you need to focus. You need to focus on how much you're spending a week, how much you're spending a month, how many deals you're making. You need to look forward constantly. That's the same thing about the vehicle. That's why the front window is 10 times larger than the rearview mirror, the windshield, right? You need to start looking ahead and stop looking at sales all the time, okay? Or stop worrying about getting an IP complaint. Stop worrying about, those things are going to cripple you. Stop living in fear. Fear is not your friend. It wants you to fail. So look forward, growth-minded, never look back. We're going to do this thing until it crashes. You know what? If my Amazon account shut down today, I don't care. I'll find some other way to make money, and I will die trying, because that Amazon account does not define me as a person. That's not where I find my identity. That's not what brings me joy in my life. I'm in the people business. I just sell on Amazon to make money. I'm in the business of building people up. So growth mindset, focus on that. Okay, now you guys have been great at listening to my 10 tips here, so I'm going to give you a little bit of practical application about how things that I look at, metrics I look at. So for Walmart and Amazon, I highly recommend getting into flips. If you've never done Amazon flips, check that out. And Walmart flips. Who here does Walmart flips? Okay. I'm going to answer that question. What is a Walmart flip, Abe? Okay. So an Amazon flip is Amazon to Amazon. Most people, I think, know about that. If you don't know details about that, I made a YouTube video on how to do it. Just hit me up after the thing and I'll send it to you. It's a quick training video. I trained my VA on how to do it. And but Walmart flip is when you're in the store at Walmart, scanning something on the Walmart shelf, and then selling it right back on Walmart's platform. How you will know that it's a good deal is when Walmart doesn't offer it online, or they're running out, or they're out of stock, or something like that. A typically good way to look at that, and the nice thing is you can use the Walmart consumer app and just start scanning product and see if it's offered online. Real easy way. Walmart is strongly driven by barcodes. There are a lot of title searches you can do, but I'd highly recommend just walking around the store. You could walk around Target, start scanning barcodes with using the Walmart consumer app, and you'll find products all the time. Okay? So check out Walmart Flips. And also, how many people have a Walmart account? Okay, good. Most of the room. If you don't have a Walmart account, I want you to sign up this weekend. You need to do it, even if it's a backup plan and you're not going to do anything with it for now. Just sign it up, get it going. That way you can come back to it. When I signed up for Walmart, I hadn't even touched the account for a year. So I signed up, just got myself on there, and then just sat there for a while. Just do that, okay? Oh, one other thing about Walmart Flips. If you see something in the store that says while supplies last, or it's a point of sale section in the middle of the store, that's typically not offered online. And it's seasonal, obviously, but check those out. You may be surprised on what you can find there that's going to sell pretty well because they don't offer it online. And there's plenty of people, shockingly enough, that don't live near a Walmart, and they want to find that product. So if it says while supplies last, or it's an end cap, or it's a point of sale where they got the cardboard displays there, check that one out too. Okay, my criteria for when I make a decision on a product, and I learned something new at Jimmy's presentation where he looks at 0 to 40% ROI. And if you didn't sit in that, or you need to go back and watch that, that was something new to me. That was mind-blowing. But we typically focus on 40% ROI. I still do the old 10 drops per month. I know there's a new belief system with some of the 100 ASINs thing is to do, with Brian and Robin, is to do 30. I do 10. And then also price stability. You want good price stability in any case. Some of the tools I use that have made me successful is I use AZ Insights as a it's kind of like RevSeller, thank you, whoever said that. Yeah, it's kind of like RevSeller, but it comes with a free app. I don't know if you knew it came with a free app called ScanEZ. You can make decisions in the store, create shopping lists. I also use Sellerboard that's where I track all my financial data. And Sellerboard, if you didn't know that, has a replenishable tool in it that you can update. If you go to in Sellerboard and you click on your inventory, and it'll say Planner. In Planner, if you go all the way to the right, there's 3 dots. There's a forecasting tool. You just click on those 3 dots, and you can set up your forecasting tool and have the report sent to you every Monday. If you go into the report section, you can have an inventory report sent to you every Monday, and it'll tell you what to replan. PC2 is the one we use to analyze wholesale information. And if you have a wholesaler and they won't send you an Excel spreadsheet and they'll give you a PDF, you can go into ChatGPT and tell ChatGPT, extract the UPC price and product description and give me an Excel table from this PDF. Upload the PDF, it'll do it in 2 seconds. And so you created a table for yourself. Okay? Okay. So let's say you've got a vendor that will only send you PDFs or a catalog, right? If you can get it in PDF form. I don't know, maybe JPEG will work too. So the phrase you're going to type into ChatGPT is create an Excel table that has UPC, price, and description. Or you can just do UPC and price with this PDF. And then you upload, there's a feature on there. I think you might have to have the pro version, the monthly subscription to upload a document. Maybe you don't. You do have to have the pro? Okay. So I have it. So you just upload that, and it'll extract all that information from the PDF. There was something else I was going to say about that. I'm drawing a blank. Anyway, so yeah, you can use that if they're unrelenting and they won't provide you an Excel spreadsheet. I use Aura as my auto pricer. I've been with them since they started the company. I like it. Works for me. And then, what I was saying is PC2. That's what I use to upload our wholesale information. There's another one that's a little bit cheaper called analyzer.tools. That's a very good one too. But if you don't want to use wholesale software, you can use Keepa. You go over to the, I'm drawing a blank on it right now, but there's a way to upload files. It's not the Product Finder. It's the next one over. Product Viewer, thank you. Yeah, so if you go to Product Viewer, there's a section there you can click UPC, and then you click on the little blank down below, and you can upload a file. That can be your wholesale analyzer. It's going to take a little bit of manual work, but you can look at the drops, sales velocity, all that stuff, and that's just included in your Keepa. So that can actually be your wholesale analyzer. You don't have to have some fancy tool like I have. So, okay. So I think this is probably a good time to stop and do questions. So I've got a question team here. So let's see if anybody has any questions. And I'm going to open doors, so if you have any questions about my business or anything. I'm not going to tell you my annual revenue, but I'll get, yeah, my best ASIN?
When you hire a VA to do sourcing for you, what is like the ratio of what you're trying to make in profit versus what you're paying them a month? Like, do you have just like a ballpark as to maybe you're paying them like $300-400 a month? You're trying to make $800 a month off of what they're finding, or where are you at with that?
Yeah, so there's two philosophies. We've done it two ways. I pay both my VAs $1,000 a month, but they do a whole lot more than sourcing. I mean, they do a ton. But when I started out paying $300 a month for part-time. But let's say you can't, one of the hard things about doing a month, like I've always done salary, but you could do hourly, $4 or $5 an hour. The other approach we took was you pay by the lead. So it's a 100% commission. So if you want them to earn their keep, so to speak, you can pay them by the lead they produce. So if they're producing 5 leads a day, they'd make $20 a day. The Filipino culture isn't really motivated to do 100% commission, but we found some success with some people. They're willing to give it a shot. But if you don't, because the hard part is, okay, I'm paying you by the hour. You just spent 8 hours, but I've only got 3 leads. Come on, that's not helping me out. So what you could do is like an onboarding, like, okay, for the first month, we're going to do 100% commission. If you demonstrate that you are doing a great job, then yes, we will convert you over to hourly or a supplement of salary plus commission. So I would do a blend of both, or you just go 100% commission. Because I'm always of the mindset, I want to see people motivated to work. So we came up with the commission-based payment.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Question over here. Have you outsourced purchasing to VAs?
I have done that in the past. I don't do that right now with my wholesale accounts because I'm usually interacting with I'm like my own purchaser right now. All my employees do all the prep and ship. But I did at one time outsource Amazon flips and then put a spending limit on it and said, okay, you can only spend $10,000 a month on Amazon flips, and just you can train a VA. That's a great way to train a VA to kind of get them familiar with reading Keepa, familiar with drops, is Amazon flips, because it's so easy to do. You're like leading them right to the well, and they get familiar with it, and then you can take them from that into other websites. So then what I would do is I'd say, okay, Amazon flips are going great. You're only allowed 5 Amazon flip leads a week. The rest I want you to come up with from other websites. So I'd still give them some opportunity to make money that they could go to that was guaranteed. But also I wanted to see them produce some fruit in other areas too.
So like the wholesale, so
Yeah.
if you were splitting it, so say you and I were going to split a wholesale account,
Yeah.
and you put up the money, so all the invoices are in your name.
Yep.
So
I know where
that's
you're going
just
with
a
this.
risk
Yeah,
that
so-
you take, or is there a
So-
workaround?
Great question. So that's the chain of custody question. You want to know. So that's a question you're going to have to ask the vendor, because I'm with you. Now, there are risks that I will take based on history. Like whoever challenges the IP of a Lego, like nobody. Like you can't, how do you have an inauthentic Lego? If you're talking about a Nike shoe, absolutely not. I am not going to take that risk. But there are times that I will take a calculated risk based on exposure. But yeah, that is a risky run. So what I would do is if you're not comfortable with that, then I would tell the vendor, hey, we're going to need 2 separate invoices. I'm going to do 5,000 on this order, and my partner's going to do 5,000. And normally, if you're dealing with people, they'll work with you on that. Yeah, because like when we went to the last trade show, the minimum order quantity was $1,500. We exceeded that by a lot. So most people, in some cases you may go, okay, that's my purchase for the next 2 months, but I'm betting pretty big on this one. I think it's going to work out. So good question. Yeah, so always be careful what you're willing to do. Yep.
Hey, do you do any like branded bundles with wholesale items, or do you ever approach wholesalers and say, hey, maybe this could be a good idea if we bundle this, or?
Yeah, I haven't done that full bore yet. That's my next, after this conference, that's my next. In fact, when we went to this last trade show, that's exactly what we made the purchases for, was to create this barbecue bundle with some Cuisinart items that we're going to put our unique item with that's trademarked. Yeah, so that was really top of mind on this last purchase. Good question. But with shoes and clothing, it's kind of harder to do. So like I wouldn't bundle 2 shoes together. So.
Hey, you mentioned that you do Walmart flips. So
Yeah.
you're buying on Walmart and flipping over to Amazon. Do you do just selling on Walmart? And if you do, like, what's your ratio of sales from Amazon to Walmart?
Great question. So we do, Amazon's still our bread and butter at this point, and Walmart makes about 10%. But when we make a wholesale order, we'll run when I make a decision on what to buy on Walmart, I'm probably going to use some of these tools out here that they're introducing, but I don't have anything right now. So we just look at the reviews. If it's got like a handful of reviews, I'll test some. So what I'll do is I'll place a wholesale order, like let's say like it's back to school time, and I'm placing a large order of licensed backpacks. I will send in probably a dozen to Walmart just to see how it's going, and then hold some back, list them merchant fulfilled on Walmart, and then send the rest of them into Amazon. And then if actually you can't list both at the same time. I take that back. But if they start selling on Walmart, then we'll convert them over. Once the WFS is gone, we'll convert them over to merchant and just start selling them there based on the stock that I held back. So we're still testing just like everybody else. Well, I'm testing on Walmart. I shouldn't say that everybody else is, but that's how we do with the wholesale stuff. And with the Walmart flips, once you start doing it, you'll know what sells. And now we'll test some. Like I used to sell Justice clothing on Walmart like crazy, but they shut that down, sadly, for us to do that. But yeah, Walmart flips is same concept. I'll go in and buy a few to test. If it starts selling and I know I can get it at regular retail and still make money, I'll do that. Yeah, go back and buy a ton more.
One follow-up question?
Yeah.
How are your refunds on Walmart? Because I'm finding with Walmart, because it's so easy for them to just return it to Walmart, that my returns are higher than I thought they would. Do you see the same thing? I don't know if it's just particular products or.
It might be the category you're in. What category are you in?
If it's vacuums.
Yeah, that's probably a high return rate.
vacuums.
Yeah, I've never sold those, so I can't speak to it. But in my case, no. I sell a lot of toys on Walmart, licensed backpacks, licensed products, licensed pajamas, things like that.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, now we got to do the raffle.
One more question.
Oh, one more question, we'll do the raffle.
As far as, so like Justice, I bought a couple of backpacks and had no idea that I could not sell them, sent them in, and then Walmart decides to tell me that you can't sell them. Is there a way to know for sure if you are going to get an IP or if you can and cannot sell prior to sending it in?
Yeah, well, my approach to that is I list it and wait 24 hours. Yep, so I'll merchant fulfill it initially, and anytime I set up an item on Walmart, I always set it up Walmart filled right away. I don't wait to convert it, so it'll say WFS eligible. So I always wait 24 hours. So usually when I place the wholesale order, I'll list all those products, wait. Oh, yeah, looks like I won't be selling that on Walmart. That stinks. But okay, so let's do the raffle here. Let's pick an innocent. Eric, why don't you come up and help us so that we know that I'm not fixing the deal here. So what we got is, I've actually got 4 gift cards here, and they're $50 at Cheesecake Factory. And there's one just a few minutes away. Okay, I think they're all 670036. Now you better check here. Is it not his? Okay. Okay, next one. I guess someone's getting that one. 670108. All right, come on up. Did you pick another one? $620,021. What did I say that? Did I say 62 or 67? Oh, 670021. All right. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Nice. We trust you. 670061. All right. One more. 670012. Hey, hey. All right. Thank you for everybody's participation. And if you have any other questions, come on up here. I'd be happy to share anything I know.